Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 10 American stereotypes Scottish guy reacts and debunks. So this is, I guess, 10 stereotypes that people generally think about the US, generalizing and stuff. I guess, yeah, it's going to be one of those videos where we're going to see stuff like all Americans love cheeseburgers, hamburgers, and it's going to be debunked, or just, generalized stuff like that. Like how British people all have bad teeth, which just isn't true. I feel like when it comes to these stereotype videos, I always get defensive with the teeth stuff. But some have bad teeth, but not all of us. Come on now, let's relax a little bit. But no, we're gonna see these stereotypes and see him debunk them. And then I guess in the comments you can say whether what he says is actually true or not, or maybe you actually disagree with what he's saying. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, going to enjoy. Let's check this video out and see some of these stereotypes.
Patriotism,
or these stereotypes that aren't true.
Food and science. In today's episode, I'm talking all about American stereotypes. That's coming right up after this. Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Sean. I am a YouTuber from Edinburgh in Scotland, and in today's episode I'm talking all about American stereotypes. Why am I talking about American stereotypes? Well, 3 years ago, exactly this coming weekend, I was invited by the United States Embassy to London on an Exploring American Values tour of America, and that trip changed my life. It made me realise just how deep of a connection Scottish people, and people from the UK in general, have with America, how many similarities we have, and you know what, I just had such a great time. And you know what, the world is a crazy place right now. There's a lot of divisions, and with this virus going on, it's just, things are tense. And I think it's always good to bring people closer together, and that's what I hope to do on this channel right here. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. It is great to see you here, and if you're new to my channel, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button down below, and then you will not miss anything. Like I said, 3 years ago exactly, on Memorial Day 2017, I went with the United States Embassy to London on an Exploring American Values tour. Since that trip, I have travelled around the United States. Not to everywhere yet. There's a lot of places I really want to go. A lot of places I've yet to go. People who watch this channel have made lots of comments saying, oh, I need to come to this place, that place, and that place, and I will make it to all the places you guys have suggested. At some point or another, it will happen once this whole virus situation disappears. And I can't wait, guys, for it to be over so I can come back to America. It's going to happen soon, hopefully this year. Fingers crossed, all my fingers and all my toes crossed, that I can come back to America this year, because I absolutely loved it. And like I said, there's just so many things that we have as a connection between Scotland and America, and I want to share them. I want to celebrate them right here on my channel. So this video, and my opinions in this video, is done based on all my travels to America and all the many American people who watch my channel. It's amazing. I love this dialogue with you guys, and all the people I meet in Scotland as well who travel from the States to come and visit my country. I've met a lot of people, I spoke to a lot of Americans, and I kind of had a good opinion on this. But I think it needs updating, because I've done a similar video to this down below, and I'm going to put a link down below to the playlist of all the kind of cultural connections between Scotland and America that I've found, the videos that I've done on this subject. Go and check them out and watch through. You might enjoy some of them. Some of them relate to very specific states and all that kind of stuff. And that is why I'm covering this in today's video. A bit of a renewal, because so much has happened since the last time I came. This whole virus thing has just thrown the whole world into absolute chaos.
It's mad to this is such a throwback to Corona being around and stuff. When did you start the list though?
I actually agree Americans are very patriotic. All those stereotypes, going through them one by one. And I'm going to be saving my favourite until the end, so you're going to want to hang on in until the very end. Number 1, Americans are very patriotic. Okay, this one is interesting true, because I actually agree Americans are very patriotic. And it stemmed like my very first trip to America was on Memorial Day, which is obviously a very important day to Americans. So when I was about there in my first few days, you saw flags flying everywhere, and I just absolutely loved it. I think this is a true stereotype. Americans are very patriotic and proud of their country, and why not? I mean, I can't really say anything. I've got a Scotland flag up there behind me. You know, I've got the t-shirt that my friend Diane sent me as well. Americans are patriotic. You guys are, and I really, really love it about you, because when I've been there, you know, it doesn't matter which kind of side of politics you're on. It doesn't matter, you know, what you believe in. There's a lot of people with different beliefs in America, and everybody from both sides are, I would say, patriotic. A lot of people are. I would absolutely love to live in America. Like I'm telling you, I promise you, if someone will sponsor me a visa and enable that visa process, I am 100% there. That is the only thing stopping me is a visa. I will come and live in America, right? There's a lot of amazing things about America, and a lot of people know that. It is a great place to live, a lot of amazing things going for it. And then you have the whole thing about freedom coming in, and you know what? With all that, and the reason I want to live there, it makes it a great place, and why not celebrate that with a bit of patriotism? I think it was a really cool thing that I saw in America. People are patriotic, and why not?
I can tell he wants to move there because he travels there. When he travels there, he makes the most of it. Like, he'll do all kinds of things, traveling all over the states and the not hidden places, but like hidden gems sort of places. And yeah, you can tell he loves the country and traveling there because this is obviously 3 years ago or 3.5 years ago. Since then, he's traveled to the US, I feel like, multiple times and explored all kinds of things.
Number 2, another one that I kind of agree with. Americans are loud. That is part of the reason why I love Americans.
The charm.
To be honest with you guys, whenever I come to the States, I have such a great time because there's lots of people coming up to you, talking to you in the street with no fears or inhibitions, and giving you their opinions and stuff. I think it's really, really cool. I like it, right? But the thing is, I meet a lot of loud people on my travels around the world. Italian people are loud. Spanish people are pretty loud. My wife and her family are from Brazil, and let me tell you, they're pretty loud as well. Americans are in that lot of people who are not the quietest in the world, and who cares? It's something I absolutely love about America. And let me tell you something, it is far better being loud than so quiet and boring that you can't even say anything out of place. Like a lot of places in Northern Europe are. Where was I last year? I was somewhere last year or the year before.
Does he not like Northern Europe then? Like Sweden and stuff?
Where everything was silent, people are quiet, they don't speak to you, and I was just bored. That's not my vibe. I like people who are outgoing, and that is why I love America. We could equally say people in some European countries are...
I guess this is how you meet people, isn't it? Like, you have these loud people that are, like, I guess, doing probably all these crazy things. Not all of the people, but you're going to find more things that are going to, I guess, pique your interest. And with that, you're going to enjoy your time more because unless you're someone who genuinely just doesn't like talking to people, it's going to be for you because... I guess it's like a social bubble for everyone in the US because all these things are going on. People are being louder. Again, it's probably not one of the cases where Americans are always just loud. It's probably maybe just the environments you're in are loud. Like maybe US cities in general are loud, so it just makes the ambience seem even louder. But then socially, I guess, I don't know, there's no sort of social thing that stops people from enjoying themselves, you know? Like you're saying, Northern Europe, maybe in like, I don't know, Scandinavia, if you're being excessively loud whilst enjoying yourself, you're going to be seen as a weirdo or something, which is also pretty depressing. But again, I don't know how it actually is. I assume not all through Scandinavia, but hey, it's different countries. Like, countries are different, right? Cultures are different, so it is what it is.
Are too quiet. Number 3, Americans are all obese. This is a bizarre one, right? And I know that every country has got like a lot of people from all different sizes and shapes and whatever, right? But in America, one thing I will say is, maybe the numbers will say different, but one thing I'll say is I have never seen so many absolutely busting out the seams fit people in my life as I have in the States. No matter which place I went, Texas, North Carolina.
You probably get the extremes on both ends, don't you? I think that's honestly how it'll probably be.
Florida, certainly, and even New York, there were people everywhere were super fit. In fact, I had never seen so many fit people in my life as when I was in America. And I kind of felt a little bit ashamed going about. And let me tell you something else. The UK is one of the most unhealthy places in the world in terms of developed countries. And Scotland is the worst of the worst. We're the sick man of Europe, essentially. People here have got no right of saying that about Americans when our health is really, really bad. That's something I find interesting. I mean, I know there are numbers that kind of back things up, but like I said, I have never seen so many people who are health conscious as I have in America. Number 4.
Fair enough.
Americans are not intelligent. Eh? What? This one is so bizarre. I just don't understand it. But it always makes these lists of stereotypes of Americans not intelligent. I find this crazy because, like I said, I've met a lot of American people, when I was traveling in the States and in the UK and, on planes and different destinations in the world, and I've had lots of really in-depth discussions with American people about a range of topics, and people I've always come across as very intelligent. In fact, like on the Uber, for example, on Uber rides in America, I've had some really great, deep conversations with people. And let me just say something else. In America, a lot of the technology I use to...
Yeah, all the technology we use. I mean, to be fair, I've got a Samsung monitor here, which is obviously not American. That's Korean. Dell. I assume that Dell is American, but I don't know. My mouse is Logitech, so I assume that's probably American. SteelSeries, I assume is American. My lights are Elgato, so they're definitely going to be from the US, I'm certain. My phone's Apple. I mean, when you actually think about it, I feel like 85% of the things in this room, I've got IKEA stuff here, IKEA stuff there. It's either Swedish or American. The electronic stuff, the good stuff, the real good stuff is all American. And then the cheap sort of, the cheap furniture that does the job is Swedish. So, yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, a lot of obviously stuff, especially in the like recent years, more and more it's just either American or probably Japanese or Korean, from some of those countries, but mainly American because you got the people there making these products. And with that, it's because a lot of the schools are going to be so extremely high level. Like, you've got to be so smart to go to some of these schools or all these schools. But I guess it's one of those ones where it's probably, again, extremes. In general, I don't think it's really fair to say that. But then I guess some Americans are going to be extremes and maybe they're not seen as very smart. And then obviously you got the smartest ones, which are probably some of the smartest people in the world. But it is a weird one. I don't really understand where this actually comes from. Like, I don't fully get it. I don't know if there was like TV shows in the past, or maybe it sort of stemmed from that. But I'm not sure.
To basically keep my whole life going, the phone that I do absolutely everything on, my laptop, which basically puts these whole vlogs together, they're American designed. America has some amazing technology platforms that I use every single day, and I would be lost without them. So it cannot be true that America is an unintelligent nation based on all the things that it's achieved in technology alone. Number 5, Americans are way too happy and cheerful. This is just, people are crazy.
People are depressing.
People out there are crazy to say that because, and actually, yeah, Americans.
It is a weird one to say that, isn't it? Like, I've done a few reactions recently, like, about how people sort of perceive it as fake happy. When in general, it's not. It's just people trying, I guess. People try and just lift other people's spirits or just be kind to people, and then people perceive that as being overly nice or fake because you're not used to it. But realistically, it's most likely just people trying not to just maybe ruin your day or just to try and lift your spirits in any way possible. Or just, it's just how people are. So, I mean, it's a strange one. Again, I've not been to the US, so maybe if I went there, it would be a strange thing to experience to start with because I'd be so unused to it. But that's not really on Americans. It's more so British people maybe just being more to themselves or just more depressing or whatever it is.
Are very happy and cheerful. That's one thing I will say. Every time I've been there, like, arrived at the airport, some guy who I'd never met before jumped to me and said, "Let me take your bag down the stairs for you, no problem." Lots of happy people. Wherever I've went, I've always met smiling people who are cheerful and really kind of positive. And I love that. It made me kind of feel energized. It made me feel positive.
Hell yeah.
Maybe I was having a bad day as well, and people just cheered me up. Why is that a bad thing? Now, I know there are people who say, it's something to do with the kind of pretentiousness of it all, but I generally find that people I've met who have been really positive in America are just generally positive people. It's not like kind of pretentious whatsoever. So I find this a really, really strange one. And like, think of the alternative. People are just miserable all the time. Truthful, miserable, boring people. That's not good anywhere. But it exists. If you go around the world, you find people who are really, really boring. Americans are not like that. And I love it. 6, Americans don't respect science. What is going on here? This one is crazy. I went myself.
To be honest, I've never actually heard that in my life. I don't really know if this is necessarily a stereotype or not.
To a NASA space center. It was incredible. NASA put man on the moon for the first time ever and has achieved so much in science over the years in America with various different things that are going on. It is one of the leading countries in the world in terms of pharmaceuticals and a lot of other amazing scientific industry. That this one is absolutely crazy. How can a country that doesn't respect science have done so much and achieved so much? That's what I want to know, right? It's a crazy, crazy stereotype, this.
Is it true?
With this whole coronavirus.
Is this actually a stereotype that people think? Actually, maybe this was during the coronavirus stuff. Well, it was. So maybe it comes from that. I don't know. I don't really know where this is.
Interesting. America's at the forefront of helping to develop a vaccine. Who knows where that will lead? We don't know. But there's a lot of really clever, intelligent people thinking about it right now. So that is one I'm going to debunk, cross it off the list. Let's remove some of these off the list forever. Number 7, Americans are inconsiderate. This, I'm going to tell you right off, is ludicrous, right? Americans I've met, and I know, and like the thousands of people watch my channel interact with, so many considerate people that I can't even believe that I've been so lucky to meet so many great, happy, nice people that have helped me out. Now, last year, I was invited by a family of people to their holiday retreat log cabin with them to
Wow.
North Carolina. Big shout out to Diane and her family. It was such an amazing experience, but these people were so considerate and so helpful and thoughtful of me and my experience in their place. They wanted me to enjoy it, and I had such a great time. People were so considerate, and I get messages almost on a daily basis from people in America saying, come to my house, we've got a
Yeah, that's very true. That is so damn true. I can relate to this 100%.
spare room, we want to show you around, we want to take time out of our busy schedule
Yeah.
to show you around our country. And I just think if Americans are inconsiderate,
That is a very beautiful thing. I don't know, maybe if there's like American people who do my type of videos, but obviously vice versa. Maybe there's Brits doing that as well. Maybe just when it comes to these sorts of like videos where you're learning about a country and you're invested in like learning and all this stuff, and then people enjoy seeing you learning and want to see you learn more. Maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know if maybe the average person, say just a British person goes to the US and then they meet someone and just chat. Would that happen? Would they offer? I don't know. And again, maybe it's a thing where British people do it for American people doing reaction videos to Britain. I'm not sure, but I can definitely like agree with what he's saying because I can relate to it a lot.
like the stereotype says, that would not happen. So this is just absurd. And like, no way. Americans are some of the most considerate people I've been fortunate enough to meet. So ridiculous, this one. Number 8, Americans do not respect nature. Bit of a chin scratcher, that one. Considering
Is this like environmental stuff? I guess.
fact that in America, and I'm going to read off a script here, these are facts that cannot be disputed on the internet. According to the WDPA, the US currently has 34,000 protected areas covering a total of more than 1.8 million square miles. That is a lot of land, and I dare say it's probably more than an entire landmass of the UK put together. A lot of land in America is dedicated to nature and wildlife. So how can America not respect nature? In fact, some of the greatest nature experiences I've had ever have been in America. Like I said, I went to the bayou in New Orleans. It was incredible. Loved it. What a unique experience. The nature you guys have around your country. Florida. And then up in the northwest in the woods and the mountains and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got nature.
And that's also very true. Americans love... I say Americans. I don't like generalising a lot because obviously not everyone's the same, but I love going to national parks and exploring the country, you know? Exploring these different terrains and different regions that you've got. I've never done that. I know my mum, when she grew up with her dad, they used to like go around the UK and do that sort of stuff. I've never really travelled around into nature, so I'm not really invested like that. I enjoy seeing these videos, and I probably would do it if I had the environment where I could, but where I live, it's not really... There's nothing really much to see, if I'm honest. Like, going to the beach and then you're just... That's pretty much it. But, yeah, I mean, in terms of Americans involved in nature, I don't really know. I don't know if I've ever heard this stereotype before, but I guess maybe more so when it comes to the environment, maybe this is what it means. Like carbon emissions and stuff. But I'm not going to get into that. I don't know enough about it, if I'm honest. I don't really myself probably do enough to say I care about it. Obviously I care about it, but I can't say I do enough to really say I can say much about it, because I mean I probably use my computer 20 hours a day, like, or 16 hours a day, and that's probably not great for the environment either, but you got to do what you got to do.
That is unbelievable on your doorstep, and then you've got the desert in the south, snowy in the north, the nature you have, the animals you have, so diverse, so unique. I absolutely love it, and I've done a couple of videos on that on my channel, and the links are down below if you want to go and check them out. Number 9, Americans do not travel. Come again? What?
Yeah, that's not true.
Right, so in my travels around the world, you know, I've been to a few places the last few years. I would say Americans are second to top of all the nations of people I've met on my travels, second only to Chinese people. But Americans are definitely second in that list of people that I meet on my travels. I meet a lot of Americans when I'm out and about. And here's the next thing as well, which has been absolutely amazing for my home country, Scotland, is the fact that Scotland's tourism boom over the last 2 or 3 years has been driven mostly by Americans. You know, and now coronavirus is kind of put a whole spanner in the works, but we had to launch daily flights from Edinburgh and Glasgow direct to various different cities in America over the last few years, because we couldn't keep up with demand just on the flying alone. Most
Damn.
people who are coming to Scotland, the biggest group is Americans, and I think that is just absolutely amazing.
cool.
I love it. So like the fact that Americans don't travel, I find really, really crazy. Number 10,
Plus travelling within the country. I mean, look, as I've learned, all the things you can do in the US, traveling within your country in a country like the US is fully understandable. If it was like Russia, I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, maybe not so, because I just sort of see Russia as a very cold place. Don't get me wrong, I know in the summer it probably gets really hot, especially in certain regions, but it's not like a mixture of all these different places. Like the US, you've got such a contrast. So even whether like what you're saying, traveling out the US or just traveling throughout the country, can't blame people, man. I really can't, especially with the prices that it will also cost to fly from the US to Europe or Asia or Africa or wherever you want to go. It's going to be so much more expensive because you're so much further away. Like, yeah, you can't really blame people for that. But yeah, traveling within the country as well.
Is that theme off? Americans are ignorant of the world, apparently, in some universe. But like I said, I meet so many Americans on my travels, wherever I go. And let me tell you, I have learned a lot from conversations with Americans about different places in the world. But even further than that, to kind of really refute this and just blow it out of the park, a nice little American phrase for you guys there. Whenever I speak to Americans about Scotland, most Americans know more historical Scottish facts than I do about my own history and my own culture. In fact, so many Americans have taught me about my own history and culture. How could that be from an ignorant people when they travel? Like, that's just impossible, right? All of the things I know. In fact, I have learned about a very specific time period in history. The Jacobites, the Jacobite Rebellion. I had no idea about that period in Scottish history. I learned it because an American author, Diana Gabaldon, was so audacious to write about that time period and turn it into a fiction novel series, turned into a TV series, but it was started by an American. And like so many people who come to Scotland know so much about the history, more than people who are educated in Scotland, which is kind of crazy, right? But that's truth. People from America know a lot about the places they go and travel and take a real interest, in my opinion, in what I've found, and I think it's absolutely incredible. A really ridiculous... I think a lot of these stereotypes are just really untrue. Stereotypes in general are dangerous, no matter what.
They are. Generalizing and generalizations are obviously just one of those things where you can't really do it because people are going to be so different throughout different countries. Like I said, British people don't all have bad teeth. What other things do we get? We don't all eat crumpets, but they are good. I can't lie, they're good. I've not eaten them, or I've not ate them for a good few years. I don't know why. I might get some soon actually because they are very good, but I've not had them in a long time. But not all Brits eat them. Tea, we don't all drink tea. Although I did actually have a phase where I was drinking more tea than usual, and I do enjoy it. And when I'm sick, herbal teas are always my go-to. But is there more? There probably are more that might actually be true. But yeah, obviously, look, you can't really stereotype everyone because. And the thing is, people genuinely believe them. A lot of people won't. A lot of people will know there's probably things that truths where they come from, or some things that maybe it's a bit more. You can understand why they'd believe it to a certain degree. Like British people's teeth, I guess there's probably things in the past where British people just typically had bad teeth or something. I don't know, but yeah, if you believe them fully and you genuinely fully believe it, it's just a bit like it's a bit scary. Well, not scary, but just a bit sad.
Which country we're talking about in the world, there's a lot of stereotypes, and usually they're not true. Certainly the ones about America I find to be not true, and I wanted to update this list.
Well, there we go. Even if Americans didn't travel internationally, you have to understand how big the US is. The distance from LA to Boston is about the same distance from Madrid to Moscow. Yeah, understandable. Fully get it. Favorite quote: "We aren't stupid. Our idiots are just really loud." But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. Let me know your thoughts on this. And until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.